We are coming on the air with breaking news out of Michigan. Authorities saying an active incident is unfolding at the synagogue Temple Israel in West Bloomfield, not far from Detroit. Police are also asking for members of the community to stay away from that area. A fire appears to be burning at the scene as well, with smoke billowing. At this hour, it remains unclear if anyone was hurt, but officials are speaking now. Let's listen in.
So obviously we've got the chief, West Bloomfield, and their team, incredible, local security at the temple on top of things. It appears it's still very, very early. Everything's preliminary. At least one individual came to the temple. Security saw him, engaged him in gunfire. The scene, we're not getting any active stimulus at the moment. We have everything here that we need, including, medics and tactical gear. We're looking to see if there's more than one person. We're still trying to figure that out. We're trying to get access to the video. At the moment, we just tell people that shelter in place for at least a mile area until we determine that there's no one else that maybe was on foot and fled the area, until we figure out exactly what's going on, number one. Number two, reunification will be at the JCC, the Jewish Center, and that's where parents will go to pick up their kids. It's going to be secured by law enforcement, so no fear there. If you have nothing to do with the situation, don't go there. Don't come to the area. It's active and it's busy, and we're still trying to figure it out.
Guys, can you say anything about any potential casualties, anyone hurt?
Nobody at the moment has been confirmed to be hurt, except potentially the shooter.
Any ties potentially to terrorism?
That's still way early to talk about. We have no idea because we don't even know who the person is at the moment.
Has that person been neutralized?
We don't have that person in custody.
So they're still on the run?
It's a work in progress. So that's why we're sheltering in place until we figure it out. It's a big facility with a lot of land around it. Until that gets secured and everybody's comfortable that there's no active threat in that spot, stay away from it, shelter in place.
We're told there's a daycare, preschool, are all those kids out?
Yeah, everybody's been moved out of the school. We've got a ton of people here. As I said, West Bloomfield got on scene in a heartbeat. Everybody else came from everywhere. Actually, the chief and I have been communicating for almost 2 weeks. Every time I've gotten some intelligence from the national level, I've been sharing. We've been talking for 2 weeks about the potential, sadly, of this happening. So there was no lack of preparation. In addition, all Jewish facilities in the area are going to have a lot of extra presence around it until we figure this out.
What about the school up Pleasant Lake? Is it safe over there? Pleasant Lake Elementary is right here?
Well, again, we would tell everybody to shelter in place.
Okay.
Was there any security at this temple, as you mentioned?
Yes, there was.
Okay.
And they engaged the threat.
So there was one person that approached the security guard and...
That's still a work in progress.
Okay, and then shots were fired?
Shots were fired.
There are reports that somebody crashed with a vehicle into a building.
A vehicle was involved.
Did it reach the building?
We're going to get into more details when there's time for that, and the chief will lay out exactly, specifically what happened. But we just want everybody to kind of know what's happening as we get it. More will come to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sheriff, will you come back in here?
If you're just joining us, we've been tracking an active situation at a Michigan synagogue. I want to bring in NBC's Tom Winter for the latest on this investigation. Tom, we just heard from authorities, a couple of headlines there saying it's an active situation. A vehicle was involved. Can you talk us through what we know so far? And do we have a sense of any injuries at this point?
Sure, Zinkley. We were just listening to Sheriff Michael Bouchard, who runs the Oakland County, Michigan Sheriff's Department there, speaking about this incident. So far, no indications of any injuries except for potentially to the person who may have been involved. What happened is apparently earlier today, an individual either in a vehicle or stepping outside of a vehicle was engaged by security that is there at Temple Israel in West Bloomfield, Michigan. They fired shots at that person or at that person's vehicle. It's still a little unclear at this time of the investigation. At that point, the vehicle may have actually entered the building. Smoke was seen coming from the building on video from a helicopter that we saw just moments ago. And right now, they've been able to evacuate that building, which does include a small school. So fortunately, everybody is out of there now, according to officials at this early stage of the investigation. Who this individual is, what this individual was trying to do, what the motivations might be are all still unclear, and they're not even close to that in terms of the investigation at this hour. They're just trying to make sure that they know where this person is, make sure they're reviewing tape, according to the sheriff, to see where this individual may or may not be, and to see if there's any other individuals as well. And so they're in the process of clearing that school, but it does in that temple, but it does appear that everybody has made it out of there. They've set up a reunification center. We're also received word in that press conference that there's been no stimulus from the person they believe is responsible. I'll translate that. That's kind of law enforcement speak for saying, you know, this person might still be inside of the vehicle, and so they haven't had any response from that person. But obviously, they want to be very careful as they approach that car. They want to be very careful as they approach that scene. There were reports, I think we've seen from our own eyes here on the video, coming from the scene of bomb squad en route, potentially just to make sure that there's no sort of explosives or any incendiary devices on that vehicle. But again, it's still very, very early here, Zinkley, and all we really know at this point is there doesn't appear to be any injuries outside of the potential suspect that's involved here. This incident does involve a vehicle going into this Temple Israel facility, and obviously law enforcement is very concerned. Look, you heard them talking about it there. They're getting information that's being passed to them through official channels from federal law enforcement in this country. Everybody is acutely aware of what's going on in the world, the ongoing war with Iran, Iran's proxies, and what's happening in the Middle East. And you see the threats that have been passed along, some unverified, some not, here in this country. And so everybody is concerned when it comes to these sensitive religious sites, including this temple, according to the sheriff.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know, as you say, Tom, it is a rapidly evolving situation. To the point of the landscape, I do want to bring in our national affairs and justice correspondent, Kelly O'Donnell. Kelly, we know this is a synagogue, a house of worship. As Tom said, we believe there's also a school, and it's happening in the context of the war with Iran. Walk us through the considerations here as we're figuring out what happened, who did it, and why.
As we've all been watching this, you can see in the pictures coming from the scene the enormous law enforcement presence there. That is an indication, a measure of how sensitive these matters are. Of course, in other communities around the country, we've already seen an elevation of security around especially religious sites and especially those in the Jewish community. This particular location is home to a community of 3,000 Jewish families. As you pointed out, there is a school, there is child care on the site, and it is a hub of the community, as it's been described by those who live there. And so because of the wider context of the war with Iran, and also, of course, remember, Detroit is always sensitive to these issues because not only is there a prominent Jewish community, but it's one of the largest communities inside the United States of Arab American communities of various nationalities. And so there is a coexistence that exists in Michigan that is particularly attuned to these issues. And so what we have seen is the FBI director has already put out that his resources are going to support those here in Michigan. Of course, there is a field office in Detroit, and any additional things they need are in place. In addition, we've seen how Governor Gretchen Whitmer has called this heartbreaking. It is a measure of the sensitivity of the moment. As we're still learning details here, we know that historically there have been a number of deadly attacks associated with Jewish communities, synagogues, related museums and so forth here in the Washington, D.C. area. And so because of that, there is a heightened sense of not only ongoing daily security, and in this instance, we understand that it was the security on the property that engaged that person who was driving a truck toward them. That was the first line of defense. Those kinds of defenses are being hardened in many communities around the country as a standard precaution that is a posture they take regularly, and then they heighten it in the climate that we're in right now, with the U.S. engaged in Iran, with heated rhetoric, with threats, and as simply to be cautious. And so as this unfolds, we'll learn more details, but there are clearly federal resources here, community-based resources, and a lot of worry in that neighborhood.
Absolutely. Anxiety is understandably high. Kelly, thank you. I want to bring in former ATF Special Agent in Charge and NBC News law enforcement analyst Jim Kavanaugh. Jim, we heard Kelly say FBI personnel on the scene. That's confirmed by FBI Director Kash Patel. Walk us through what comes next here. What kind of law enforcement response should we expect?
Well, it's all hands on deck. You're going to have all the federales. You're going to have the Michigan State Police, the sheriff, all the city officers around the greater Detroit area there. But the critical thing is finding the attacker. And he may be wounded. So alerts to the hospitals, and the clinics in the area. Could somebody come in? That's what they got to do. He may be in a manic phase. He may want to still launch another attack.
Jim, thanks so much. Well, that concludes this NBC News special report. We will have more ahead on NBC News Daily and a full wrap-up tonight on Nightly News. I'm Zinklea Asamoah. Stay safe and stay well.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.